we've got this government bill on crypto. So in the United States, uh, there was this so-called infrastructure bill that was being debated in the government, and they were looking at passing this bill, and then this guy, I guess he must be one of the, I don't know, the senators or the House of Representatives, Mark Werner, proposed an amendment at the last minute that would make crypto wallets, stakers, and software developers brokers for tax purposes, meaning they would need to report their transactions to the IRS, the tax office in the United States. And so this just created like this huge sudden uproar in the cryptocurrency community for two reasons. One is that, I mean, the cryptocurrency industry never, is really loving it if the government's getting too involved. But on one hand, parts of the ecosystem do feel that they need to be regulated, like Coinbase and whatever. It's very important for them to have regulatory clarity. But particularly in this case, because the bill was potentially somehow sort of discriminating against proof of stake against proof of work, because it was not going to make miners of proof of work coins a a subject to all this overhead and regulation, but it was somehow going to make stakers of proof of stake coins. So how that was decided, or who was sort of, what was the motivation for that, remains very, very unclear. But essentially, Brian Armstrong made a post on Twitter alerting everyone about this bill, and basically said, yeah, why is the government sort of suddenly playing favorites and trying to sort of put a regulatory burden onto one side of the industry or another? He made an analogy to say, look, like imagine if the government just said, okay, we're going to ban Android but not iOS, or we're going to, something like that. It in such a young industry, it's a bit premature for the government to be playing favorites. I mean, in my point of view, they should never be doing that at all. But from another point of view, you could say, well, if they're going to regulate it, maybe they should try and encourage one thing more than another. But it just seems so poorly thought out, and so the wrong way of going about it. So the crypto industry came out with this huge clamor, and these senators Wyden, Lummis, and Toomey put in a amendment that was going to help the crypto community. So everybody was writing into their senators and doing all that sort of stuff. And then it ultimately failed because somewhere in the mix, I don't know exactly how it panned out, but somebody wanted to get some spending on defense approved as part of this amendment, and then they couldn't get that, so they just blew up the whole amendment. So at the end of the day, the crypto industry did not actually get the amendment it needed, and the bill went through with this sort of horrible regulation in it. And so now we're just sort of in a weird spot, I guess, where it remains to be seen how heavily this is going to be enforced or interpreted or whatever. But I think everybody's a bit shaken up.